Good day. How is everyone today? I am going to make this video today about a topic that usually strikes a negative chord in people's minds, and they usually have a knee-jerk reaction to it for whatever reason. My opinion is that it's kind of been trained into us to think of it as a negative thing, and I'm going to challenge that ideal because I actually realize that I kind of land on the side of this term as opposed to the opposite side, and I'll tell you what that is. So the term that I'm talking about today is anarchy. Yep, anarchy. Yeah, everybody usually recoils when you start talking about anarchists, and there's a reason for that, because all throughout the ages, anybody who's ever stood up against, let's say, a ruling class, or people that believe that they're elite and better than you, or a king, or a monarchy, or a patriarchy, or whatever the case, when people decide, hey, look, I've had enough of the control or the abuse, or in America's case, taxation and just kind of the abuses that are set forth in the Declaration of Independence. People have enough. They stand up against it. Well, the word anarchy, if you break it up into two, break it in half, an simply means without, and then archy means rulers, or the supreme. So it's just without rulers, and it does not mean, however, without rules. We need rules. We know that there's natural law. We know that there's a natural governing system in place, that you reap what you sow, and people might understand what karma is. There are rules in this world that we inhabit. So I just want to talk a little bit about what anarchy is. That I think it escapes people because of the programming in Hollywood, and when somebody is going against a ruling class or an elite system, most of the time people rebel against that because they are feeling oppressed. It's no different than the student in school that maybe there's too many rules, and the child does not have the ability to just begin to expand and be who they are, so they're put in a box. Everyone is going to rebel against that. It's because we want to be free to express ourselves, free to expand, free to explore. We don't want to be stuffed in a box or a system. We, as men and women, are not created to just fit a mold. We are all different, and we have an infinite amount of things to give to the community around us and to the world. So back to the word anarchy. Anarchy simply means without rulers, not without rules. So a lot of people think that anarchy is about chaos and mayhem and burning buildings and stealing things from other people. It's not about that. However, it's portrayed that way in the movies. I hear speakers talk about anarchists like they're just these really bad people. But I would venture to say that most people watching this video right now land on the side also of an anarchist. But I'm going to say true anarchy, or a true anarchist, as opposed to just an anarchist. Now, the things that are synonymous with true anarchy is number one, it's self-governance. Somebody who is from anarchist mindset is truly self-governing. They don't need a boss, a ruling class, or somebody to tell them what to do. They think for themselves, and they are able to govern themselves. Personal responsibility is another thing that a true anarchist, their mindset is. They're responsible for themselves, and they take responsibility for themselves. Another one would be they're not afraid to be accountable. All right? In an anarchy type society, people are governing themselves, they take personal responsibility, and they're totally good with being accountable to the community. That's another one. True anarchists live by the non-aggression principle. That just means you just don't go taking from other people. You don't take from your brother. You realize that they are independent and they have their ideas, and they're governing themselves as well. So it's not about taking from another. So we stand as anarchists with the non-aggression principle. Another one is that we feel that we do have a right to defend ourselves or our family or our community against people that want to take from us. We have the right to defend ourselves. And honestly, that is a God-given thing. It's a natural thing that if somebody's going to attack you, you are going to defend yourself, and we believe in the right to defend ourselves. All of this to say is that true anarchy and true anarchists, we believe that you don't need a ruling class or a global elite system to tell us what we can and cannot do. We live with, again, the non-aggression principle. We govern ourselves. We take personal responsibility for ourselves and our family and our community. We look out for one another. And this is a great place to be. And I imagine that most people watching this video right now think the same way. But we've been conditioned, again, since we were small, that we are to trust and believe some sort of government system or ruling class to take care of us. And true anarchy is not about having somebody else take care of us. It's about us taking care of our own selves. Then we can take care of those that are around us. So maybe some of these things people don't think about so much because we've been trained to just believe in a system savior, a president, or our governing system around us. I'm going to mention that America too, I mean, our founding fathers, they kind of landed on that anarchist idea as well. It seems that they didn't like King George with all of the rules that they were oppressing the people with, and taxation and all that. So, they might be considered, well, they were rebels. They were rebels against the system. And they came over here and America was started. So, anarchy, it's really not a negative thing. It's simply the idea of governing yourself, taking complete personal responsibility for your actions, and helping your neighbor, your brother, do the same thing. We're accountable to one another. We're accountable to our family and to our community. An anarchist really believes that we have the right to defend ourselves with any means necessary if we're being attacked or if something's being stolen from us or being violated somehow, with keeping in mind the non-aggression principle. So these are some ideas that kind of go counterculture because of the programming that's been put on us since we were small. You know, you'll usually hear the term anarchist as people that are just uprising against the government, rebels. And again, most of the time, people are pretty content, but when they become oppressed, people don't like to be oppressed or ruled over. We just don't like that, and that's okay. So we've been programmed. They say that yeah, these anarchists are rebelling against the government. Well, of course they're rebelling against tyrants. I think it's quoted so many times that Ben Franklin said rebellion to tyrants is obedience to God. Whether he said that or not, I don't know. I don't have any way to prove that, but it's been spoken that he has said that. And that makes total sense. It's like you should not be put under someone's rule. So an anarchist is just somebody that believes that they don't need rulers. They need rules. Again, natural law is something that you're never going to get away with. Going against natural law. Natural law will always prevail. It's just a matter of time. You cannot go against natural law. That's just a fact. So anyway, I hope maybe this sparked your, maybe get your thinking about what's going on in our world, especially. So many people are dependent on the governmental system as it is, and we really need to be governing ourselves. And there's a lot of people that run into trouble because they're not really governing themselves. And so they end up getting governed by the government. Okay? I'm all about personal responsibility and being good to your brother, working together in your community and helping somebody out if they need help. Those are all great ideas. Those are actually anarchist ideas. I'm going to expand on this a little bit as far as anarchy kind of ideas. If you really think about it, holistic medicine, getting away from big pharma, your farmers markets, are you kidding? That stuff is outside of the government system. You don't need a government system to have natural healing methods for your body, growing healthy organic food. That in this society today, that is an anarchist idea as well. Alternative medicine, again, like I said, getting away from the pharmaceutical industry. That's getting away from that stuff. See, that's all government regulated. That's all under the auspices of the government, the controlling mechanism. You're dang right I'm going to rebel against that respectfully, because they're trying to force things onto us and the people that aren't good for us. So natural medicines don't make a lot of money for the big pharma system and the government system. They don't make a lot of money, so they don't want that. So those are anarchy ideas too. Alternative money system, cryptocurrencies, those are also, that's an anarchy idea. People are sick and tired of stuff with the Federal Reserve and the money system as it is. They're tired of it because it's oppressive. There's a shift happening here, and I think what people really need to do is explore the idea of anarchy, but not in the sense where you're uprising, taking over the government. You know, this is not a coup d'etat over the government. This is about being responsible. And if you're truly responsible, what can they say to you? What can they say to you if you're just a real responsible man or a woman? So, anyways, I just figured I would talk a little bit about what anarchy is, maybe a little bit about what anarchy is not, and think about it. Just think about it. Once again, self-governance, personal responsibility, accountability, the non-aggression principle, and also the right to defend yourself with any means necessary for you and your family, your community, and to do the right thing. An anarchist really is out to do the right thing. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I will say that I reserve the right to change my mind with more information. You know, in my 55 years here, I've learned that what I was taught wasn't always correct. So as I study and I learn, I evolve in my thinking. So maybe you can do that too. Thanks a lot for watching, and I hope you got something out of this. So I'll talk to you soon.